The Amazon rainforest. The beating heart of our ecosystems. The arteries of our waterways. The fingerprints of biodiversity. But it's suffocating. Deforestation scorches its paths and global climate change overrides its weather patterns, sending temperatures soaring.
We are about to reach a tipping point in the Amazon.
Lush forests turn to swamp, rich vegetation to barren plains. But all is not lost.
It's about creating long-lasting solutions.
They are moving in the right direction.
There is still hope.
Don't get discouraged, and if everyone does a little bit, that's a big bit.
Together we can bring this beautiful and essential ecosystem back to life and restore this tropical landscape for generations to come.
So I want my daughter to be able to come to the Amazon and to see the things I did.
Prepare to be aggressive.
Hyperdrive now.
In an Extreme E first, the team travelled deep into the heart of the Amazon rainforest to visit their legacy program in Brazil. Being one of the most remote parts of the world, the team embarked on a lengthy journey to reach their destination. Joining the expedition was number 99 GMC Hummer EV driver Sarah Price.
One thing I can't explain through the camera is smells. The feeling of like the rain when you're walking through the rainforest, just poured out on you. It's these magical moments that you just can't really ever give to someone else unless they get to experience it themselves.
Extreme E's legacy program aims to provide social and environmental support in each of Extreme E's current and future race locations. One of which is the state of Para in Brazil, where Extreme E collaborates with global environmental NGO, the Nature Conservancy. What awaited them was stories from those on the ground who are fighting against the climate threats to the region, providing inspiration for the team, which would prove life-changing.
The Amazon is the largest continuous rainforest that we have on our planet. It's a superlative place. The Amazon is the place of lots of biodiversity, millions of species that we already know, but we've been discovering one new species every 3 days. It's also about the diversity of cultures that we have in the Amazon. Just in Brazil, we have 350 different indigenous groups. It's amazing to have a place that is still untouched by us.
Part of Extreme E's scientific committee, who help advise the series on its positive legacy initiatives, Francisco Oliveira has worked in the Amazon for over 25 years.
The Amazon is very important for the climate. And if we are losing it, we are losing the capability of the planet to keep the balance in two things mostly. One is the temperature, because the Amazon works like an air conditioner for the planet. And the second thing is that the Amazon is also very important in terms of carbon sink. More recently, it's starting to not become a sink of carbon anymore. It's starting to emit, and that's very terrifying news. We are about to reach a tipping point in the Amazon, and this tipping point means the landscape and the environment is going to change from the rainforest to something more like savanna.
Deforestation is one of the biggest threats to the Amazon's survival. In 2020, the deforestation rate of the legal Amazon region in Brazil reached the highest level in over a decade.
The main drivers of deforestation in the Amazon are well known. Illegal forestry, when you take valuable timber without any kind of management plan. And then the second driver of deforestation is cattle ranching. Cattle ranching occupies almost 66% of all the forested areas in the Amazon.
The problem of cattle ranching is what Extreme E is helping combat with its legacy program. The team are helping provide farmers with the resources and technical know-how to choose agroforestry as an alternative livelihood to cattle ranching.
So here in the Amazon, we hear about the problem of deforestation. We're here learning about it from those that are working here and those that are working here to find solutions. The issue is that cattle farming is really bad for the land. And they use up all the nutrients and then move on to other places where they're going to burn down areas of the forests where they can get that nutrient-rich soil and pasture land that the cattle need, but actually all they're doing is taking from the land until there's nothing left to give. So agroforestry is more about preserving the land, actually putting nutrients back in, enabling that land to grow again, and producing crops like cacao, like bananas, like cassava, acai, all things that are actually returning nutrients to the ground and being able to provide value to the families that are using and maintaining these crops.
As a result of Extreme E's legacy program, 100 hectares of cacao-based forestry has been implemented, and 100 hectares of land is under restoration. Extreme E are also supporting 50 smallholder families with agroforestry training, one of whom is Wesley Matos Moreira. A former cattle rancher, he has turned his life around to farm cacao over cattle.
Antes desse plantio que aqui existe, eu vi a pecuária como a gente tratava como um modelo insustentável. Foi o pessoal do meio ambiente veio e classificou, fez uma classificação como área improdutiva de pastagem.
People came here a long time ago, and some of them came as cattle ranchers, and now they realize that the cattle ranching is not profitable, is not the best thing to do, and they're starting to transform the way they've been using the land in a good way.
O cacau é infinitamente superior à pecuária em vários quesitos. Primeiro, o cacau traz, naturalmente, já traz uma recuperação de área no sentido de fertilidade, no sentido de bioma em si, traz pássaros, traz a fauna de volta. Na questão de renda, o cacau é em torno de 5 a 6 vezes mais rentável.
Due to the stark difference in problems facing the people and locations Extreme E race in, Extreme E works with local organisations to find tangible solutions to each region.
We're here working with a NGO called TNC, the Nature Conservancy, and what they've been able to do is to really work with local farmers to give them not only a more environmentally sustainable way of farming and the way of living, but also economically far more valuable as well. And I think that's the two together that really made this project really exciting, because we're helping people to move to more sustainable farming techniques, and at the same time themselves and their families are wealthier as a consequence. We want to have a race here in the state of Para, which allows us to even further highlight the plight of the Amazon, but also some of the really positive solutions that come from working with partners like TNC.
At the Nature Conservancy, we understand farmers' needs. The economic aspect is very, very important. So we don't come and simply try to impose or do what we think is right, but we first understand what they need and what they want to do.
With cattle ranching entrenched in the region for generations, the project aims to show farmers that another path is possible. Extreme E hope Wesley's success convinces other farmers to follow in his footsteps. But it won't be easy, as his community treats his new techniques with suspicion.
Nossa imagem lá fora, às vezes, é mal vista, porque nós somos vistos, principalmente aqui na nossa região, como destruidores. E a gente eu abro as portas da minha propriedade para mostrar que é justamente o contrário, que a gente está fazendo alguma coisa pelo meio ambiente. A gente está buscando, além de uma preservação do meio ambiente, encarar a natureza como uma forma, não como uma adversária, mas sim como uma parceira, uma criação de Deus.
With so many lives being transformed by agroforestry, Extreme E visited a family who have been producing cacao for over 35 years.
Despite the weather, I think we're all very happy to be here now.
Oh, very happy. I'm eating some cocoa, having a good time in the warm rain.
Life couldn't get better than this.
Fabio and his father-in-law family, they arrived in the region in 1986. And since then, they've been doing cocoa in that property. And it's a family business. They've been doing it for generations. And his hope is that his children is going to be the next generation taking care of that property.
Eu cheguei aqui de férias, eu morava no outro estado, no Rio Grande do Sul. Essas minhas férias levou 40 dias, que era para ficar 15, né? Levei 40 dias. E aí eu retornei para minha cidade só para recolher e para voltar para cá. Trabalhar com o cacau é muito prazeroso, porque a gente trabalha e com a conservação, a gente conserva o meio ambiente.
In the hands of true cacao experts, driver Sarah Price received a masterclass in how to extract seeds from this precious fruit.
What we're doing is we're actually taking the cocoa beans out of the cocoa. This is their process. They just taught me how, and we're going for it. I cannot believe this is what chocolate comes from. It's crazy. And then what's crazy is that the stuff around it is super sweet, but chocolate itself is actually not very sweet. It's kind of bitter. So just goes to show how much we actually process it in our daily lives when we have it, because it's not a sweet thing. So when the cocoa is dried out, it's a lot more like chocolate. Chocolate itself is still really bitter without all the sweeteners and everything we put in it to have processed chocolate. But this is actually very good. To me, I love bitter chocolate, so I'm very pumped on this.
Para mim é fundamental passar isso para os meus filhos. Então a gente procura, além da extração do cacau, além da gente produzir e ter o nosso sustento, manter e passar para a nossa geração pequena, né, para os nossos filhos, essa preservação da natureza, né, porque manter a natureza cuidada, porque dela que sai o nosso sustento.
I think that's the beauty of working in these smallholder families, because you have a family business, they do all together, and you see on their faces that they are very happy to be together. They love the independence that they get, they love the freedom that they get. This is so important for them. I would never live in an apartment in a city because I would feel like I'm in a prison.
A natureza me deu tudo o que eu precisava, né? Me deu alegria, que eu trabalho com mais disposição, acho que é uma vida mais tranquila, muito mais tranquila com a natureza e com os filhos, com a esposa, enfim.
It's pretty rewarding to be a part of a series like Extreme E. You know, we got to drive, but we get to also race for a bigger picture. We're out here trying to help the world and the environment and bring sport to the front end of that, but also utilize us racing to share this other message. And so it's a good feeling, you know, like just instead of going out there and racing, obviously that's our life and we love that more than anything, but at the same time to do good with it, it doesn't get better than that. And it's pretty incredible what they're doing and bringing this new future, I think, to sports.
To highlight critical environmental issues, Extreme E has a scientific committee consisting of world-renowned academics that undertake research and advise on legacy initiatives in each location that Extreme E races.
The scientific committee is such a great innovation that we've had, where we've brought the scientific world into sports. And we have 5 scientists. Each of them are experts on desertification, deforestation, melting glaciers, melting ice caps, sea level rise. And what they allow us to do is to find locations that really can do justice to tell that story. So we go to damaged locations across the world, and then the scientific committee help us to work with local people to have legacy projects. And these legacy projects allow us to fix the environment that is equivalent to the area that we race on.
The championship's resident Amazon expert, Francisco Oliveira, has been involved with Extreme E's work in Brazil from the very beginning. Despite having worked in the Amazon for over 25 years, he can still remember his first visit like it was just yesterday.
When you fly to the Amazon, it's the very first big thing. You just see forest on the window of the airplane. It's amazing. I say, hey, this forest never stops. I was, flying over the Amazon for almost 2 hours. When I landed and I started to go into the forest, that's where I said, okay, this is even more interesting because the forest is so beautiful. It's so diverse. lots of things to see, to watch. When I went to the field for the first time to visit the areas that I was studying, I started to realize that the most important thing to be concerned, of course biodiversity is important, but the landscape was changing so fast. The proudest moment that I can remember in my career is the time that I was in the government. We started to develop the action plan that was going to reduce deforestation with the whole government working together, and the result after 10 years, we started in 2004, in 2014 we had reduced deforestation by 80%. I had a chance to represent the Brazilian government in a meeting with Prince Charles, and he asked, what have you done in the Amazon that you reduced deforestation so much? Congratulations for what you've been doing. Being recognized not just by him, but people that are not here. It's so important for those who are spending sometimes 3 or 4 months away from their families. I was excited from the very first moment to be part of the scientific committee. I was going beyond talking to my peers in the environmental arena. I'm going into a new world of people that are more excited about the sports, but if we have a sports with purpose, which is what Extreme E wants to do, that makes me really proud of being part of this thing. It's innovative, it's connecting different worlds, and that's where we should go. What keeps me going every day is that I know I'm not here in the Amazon every day, but I know that there are people here that need people like me taking care of the policies and providing and working on the right policies for them. And sometimes they don't have the voice to express what they are feeling and to express their needs. And we are the voices of these people that are living in the forest. That's one part that motivates me every day to wake up and go and think that I'm doing the right thing for the local people, for the region, and also, of course, because the Amazon is so important for the planet. And I want my daughter to be able to come to the Amazon and to see the things I did.
Extreme E, alongside number 99 GMC Hummer EV driver Sarah Price, are visiting one of the most remote parts of the world, the Amazon rainforest. Over the course of the week, they are meeting farmers, supported by Extreme E's Legacy project, who are adapting their techniques for the good of the planet and their own lives.
So we're about to cross the Xingu River. That is our ferry that is going to be taking us across. We're going to have an amazing day at a new cocoa farm. I'm excited to see it. You know, it's pretty awesome. Extreme E's here. They've actually supplied 50 families with the funds to be able to have their own farms. So it's pretty awesome to be a part of that. And let's go check it out.
Rosalie Alves Diaz, with the support of Extreme E's Legacy program, has been able to reap the rewards that agroforestry offers. This way of farming has meant that Rosalie is able to grow many distinct species of crops and expand her production offering year on year.
Nosso trabalho aqui diário é o plantio do cacau, né, das frutíferas como o cupuaçu, a acerola, né. Mas em pequeno pedaço a gente está plantando, a gente está reflorestando. Então assim, a gente acredita e a gente gosta e acredita que é uma rentabilidade para o nosso lote.
Rosalie is one of the very first person that engaged with the Nature Conservancy on this project that we are showing and the Extreme E supporting. She was the kind of person that was very interested in a sustainable production in her property.
A TNC hoje para nós é uma fonte que vem nos apoiando, né? Que o município ele tem a deficiência de assistência técnica. Então a TNC ela está dando esse suporte, né, do plantio, da semente, de tudo, até o mercado.
In the Amazon forest, 40% of deforestation comes from small landholders. So we need to engage them and create some alternative source of income in order to have them protecting the forest and working with degraded lands and at the same time creating some new jobs to maintain them in the lands.
Quando a gente olha ao nosso redor, então isso enche de orgulho. A gente não tem palavra para expressar e descrever o que tudo isso aqui significa para a gente.
Supporting women in the region was important for Extreme E, given its commitment to promoting equality. Extreme E was the first championship to have male and female drivers and is dedicated to the belief that the solutions to the climate crisis come in men and women working together for a problem that affects us all.
The Nature Conservancy organized a workshop just with women, and they felt so empowered by this workshop. It's not just about the environment, but it's also about social issues.
Queremos agregar valores, né, em pequenos pedaços para a gente ter uma representatividade melhor para a nossa família, né, e para o nosso futuro, né, e são os netos e futura geração, porque são aves de 15, 20, 30, 40 anos. Né, sabemos que hoje estamos plantando e eles vão ser os colhedores mais tarde de tudo isso.
The final day of the trip illuminated the powerful role that agroforestry can play in young people's lives, as the team met 22-year-old Anna Kelly. Given to her by her father, Anna runs a successful cacao plant with her sister-in-law. Sarah Price sat down to speak with her about her experiences.
Most girls, want to go to a city, be close to cafes, be close to entertainment, go out at night. And this is a life that it's labor intense, you're working hard at it, and I'm sure it's the most gratifying thing you can ever do, but what made you choose this over that?
Desde muito nova, né, meu irmão mexia no cacau dali, como é que se diz? Eu já nasci mexendo. A minha cunhada, bora pegar o cacau pra gente mexer. Aí, como é que se diz? Vamos lá, né? Ficar muito assim em cidade, muito quente, muito barulhento, eu prefiro mais a tranquilidade da roça.
I myself am not a city person as well. I like to visit the city, but I like to be able to live out of it and get out of it as fast as I can. A few days is good enough for me. Living in the open area, living in the desert for me is where I absolutely love to be. And obviously this is where you love to be. Sure, all the farmers are mainly male, right? So how has that been, being a female new to this and getting involved in it?
Lugar de mulher não é no cacau, que eu não dou conta dessas coisas. Eu mesma já ouvi muita coisa assim que eu sou mais, como é que se diz? Quem não me conhece, né? Quem me conhece sabe que eu dou conta. Eu acho que as mulheres aqui, elas estão bem empoderadas.
You're gonna make us all cry, don't do that. That is just awesome to me because I truly relate. That's how my whole life was growing up and racing. And I just give you props because you just are incredible to me.
No início não teve medo não, mulher, de correr e tal? Nunca teve medo?
No, in the beginning I didn't. I'd never had fear, really. I was always a fearless child. My parents didn't know what to do with me, to be honest. I was a wild child. Then they bought me my first dirt bike. That led me to where I am today. I went from 2 wheels now to 4 wheels, but fear hasn't ever been a thing, but I think it's really good to be nervous. So fear and nervous is different. In every race, I'm nervous. Meeting Anna has been super inspirational, I think for myself especially, because we're very similar. She's, a young woman. She is determined to make it in her world, a male-dominated world right now, and she wants to make a difference. And I can't wait to come back and see her just rule the whole cocoa industry out here, because I swear she's going to do it.
To bring these famous drivers that have huge social media followings just allows us to break out of the echo chamber. So what we're trying to do is to use Extreme E as the platform that allows us to have a different conversation with a different audience, and also helps it to be digestible in a simpler format. And I think Sarah has been here. She's an absolute riot. She's going through a personal journey here. This is the first time she's been to the Amazon. What that allows us to do is, next time she's speaking to some of her fellow drivers, she can explain firsthand what is going on in the Amazon. And that helps us to just cut through and break down the barriers to climate change. Climate change is a problem that we've all got. and we need solutions to those problems. And those solutions aren't dreamt up in London or New York or Paris. You know, it's about the people of the world coming up with creative solutions in different environments which suit those environments. So I think you've got to get out there, you've got to meet the people, you've got to understand the challenges that they've got.
I think the summary of this visit is commitment. Commitment from the people that are living here to do the right thing. Commitment of TNC to help these people go in the right direction. Commitment of Extreme E to be part of it, to help these people to change their life in a better way. This is the kind of thing that touch deep in our hearts, that we can make a difference and everyone can make a difference.
One day, Extreme E hopes to revisit the Amazon to put on a race and to put an even bigger spotlight on the issues the region is facing and work further with the local people.